Hello guys, welcome all of you back with our database management system question set discussion series. Today we are going to discuss question set number 32. So let's get it started. Here we have our description for question number 32. This question set is also connected with our 31 question set. So if you haven't watched it yet, please start with that. So in here it says the bill book system is used to keep the information on the bills of the shoe store called Aralia Shoe Center. This method is used for so long time. But using this method will embraces the shop owner and employees. The accountant working in the shop pointed out to the shop owner the disadvantages of the bill book system. Disadvantages pointed out were the loss of bill books, damage to bill books, and the need for separate space for storing the bill books. Because of these factors, the store owner realizes that the bill book system is difficult to use and decided to use the computer software. The software was developed by AI Soft, a software development company. You work as a senior software engineer at this company. You and your team are tasked with creating the database of this software. Create a required diagram for that. To do this, follow the instructions below. The name of the database as Earlier Shoe Center. So we in our previous video we created the database and few tables in that database. So in question number 32, the first question is create a product table to store the product information. To do so, use the instructions below, and they have given us the table name as product, and here we have three columns. The product ID column must be primary key and it must be auto increment. And here we have our necessary data types and data lengths. So let's go and create this table in our diagram. So these tables were created in our previous video in question set 31. So let's create our new table. Name should be product and the first column name must be product ID and it must be auto increment. And the second column name must be product name and the third column name must be description. And its data type should be text. Let's change it, and after that let's close this. Here we have our product table. So let's go back. Here we have our second question. It says create a table called brand to store product brands. To do so, use the instructions below, and they have given us the instruction, the table name as brand and the columns and data types and relevant data lengths. The brand ID column must be primary key and auto increment. So let's go and create this table in our diagram. So here we have our next table as brand. So let's go back. Here we have our third question. It says create a table called GRN to store bills details provided by suppliers when selling inventory to the store. To do so, use the instructions below. The table name must be GRN and we have two columns. GRN ID column must be primary key and auto increment, and they have data types and data lengths. So let's go and create this table in our diagram. So here we have our GRN table. So let's go back. Here we have our fourth question. It says create a table called GRN item to store information about the quantities of goods supplied to the store by suppliers. To do so, use the instructions below. The table name must be GRN item and the column names here and data types are in here. So let's go and create this table. So when we store a date or time or year, we can use date time data type, and when we store a price we can use double data type. So here we have our created table GRN item. So let's go back. In our fifth question, it says create a table called stock to store information about the quantities of items currently available for sale in the store. To do so, use the instructions below. The table name must be stock and stock ID column must be primary key and auto increment, and we have three columns and the necessary data types are in here. So let's go and create this in our ER diagram. So here we have our created table stock. So let's go back. Here we have our sixth question as create a table called invoice to store the bills details provided to the customer when purchasing the goods from the store. To do so, use the instructions below. The table name is invoice and the invoice ID column is primary key and auto increment, and they have provided us the necessary data types. So let's go and create it. So here we have our created table invoice. So let's go back. In our seventh question, it says create a table called invoice item to store the details of the goods given to the customer after purchasing the goods from the store. To do so, use the instructions below. The table name is invoice item ID column is the primary key and it must be auto increment. So let's go and create this table. So here we have our created table invoice item. So let's go back. So guys, that's all for today. In our next video, let's discuss question set number 33. Until then, have a nice day. Thank you.